all the people I know and I don't know. Welcome, all of you. You are family.
Right, right. Okay, so we're gonna
Morning.
go ahead and get started. And we've made some updates. I know there are some faces and people on here who have already gone through the interview process and have been accepted into the program, and we have a few more that are still folks who are new and just learning about the program for the first time. So we're gonna try to address quite a few things. We have some updates, a few updates that we'll share for those of you who came to one of the earlier info sessions, and then towards the end, or if at any point you have questions, feel free to drop a question in the chat and or use the raise your hand feature on Zoom so it notifies us because we will be sharing some slides with you all. So if you give me a couple minutes, then I'll go ahead and start sharing my screen with you all. I thought Zed was going to be joining us from India, but maybe not. So we were also kind of waiting to see if he was going to be able to join us. Um, I know Gerardo. Are you still here, Gerardo? Yes.
Cool, cool.
Yeah. I don't know if you're able to message him to see if he's going to come or not, but I'm going to go ahead and just get us started. Okay, everyone can see my screen, no problem.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. So now that I'm sharing my screen, I can't see everyone's faces. So, Gerardo, maybe you will be able to manage that piece for me in case anybody has any questions or anything. So let me, okay, change this a little bit. All right. So, um, thank you for being here. Thank you so much for your interest in our study abroad program. I am Professor Danielle Powell. I teach the Intercultural Communication course. And my colleague, if you want to introduce yourself.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Gaines, and I'm the chair of Ethnic Studies. I'll be teaching Ethnic Studies 105, which is African American history and culture. Welcome.
All righty. So, why study abroad? Um, One, you will gain international experience, which will look great on your transcripts and resumes. Each of the courses that we're offering are transferable courses to the UCs and CSUs, and actually most four-year universities that you might be transferring to for those of you who need to transfer or because some of you may have already transferred. So for those of you who need that, you will learn cross-cultural communication and language skills, and make some lifelong friends. So these are just some of the reasons. Also, I see that was another question in the chat. Okay, that was you, Dr. Gaines.
Yeah, yeah, no.
All right. So in terms of the program eligibility, you must be 18 years old before the program actually begins, before we begin traveling for the study abroad. So if you're not 18 right now, but you'll be 18 by June 11th, or at least by June, yeah, by June 11th, the departure date, then you're all good. You must be in good academic and disciplinary standing. And so those are two of the main things that we want to let all of the students on here know about. So the study abroad application deadline is March 11th for those of you on here who have not yet applied and submitted your application. Please make sure that if you are interested, go ahead and get your application in. You will need to submit an unofficial transcript and answer a few essay prompts. And we'll use your application plus the interview to determine your fit for the program and for the group that's already been accepted into the program. So if you have submitted your application, but you've not yet completed your interview, please make sure that you respond to Gerardo's emails about scheduling your interview for the program. Those of you who have completed your interview and have been accepted into the program, you should have received an acceptance email from the study abroad office already. And if you have not yet received that acceptance email or letter, please let us know. We'll make sure that we get that out to you today. Or maybe just check your email because it probably came out. All right. Um, So the two short prompts. So this is a what we call a short-term study abroad program. So we're going to be out of country for about 14 days. So this is a 2-week program, a 2-week intensive program. You can see here like the questions, sample questions that you'll have to answer for your essays. So what aspects of the study abroad program do you expect will be the most challenging for you? And how will you meet and overcome these challenges? You'll see these questions in the interview as well. What are your strategies for interacting with people who are different from you? How do you feel with unfamiliar and unknown situations? And how do you approach new environments? So these are some samples of those questions that you'll need to answer both in your application and during the actual interview, just to give you an overview of that for those of you who haven't submitted those applications yet. So why choose South Africa? This is an experiential and contextualized learning experience in 2 cities or regions. For those of you that came early, we were considering 3 cities. So this is one of the updates to the program. Given the time frame and the cost, we cut out the third city to so that the cost didn't increase more. Also, Dr. Gaines and I, we did the 3 cities in a 7-day period. And even with thinking about the 2-week period, that was going to be a lot on all of us traveling as a group. And so we felt that it was best to cut out that third city. But if any of you who were here in the early for the earlier info sessions and you still want to visit that area, you are welcome to schedule that on the tail end of your trip. That could be something that you could do on your own. It is more affordable to travel to that third location while you're already in the country versus coming back at a later date and doing that. But you're going to get a very robust experience in these 2 regions. And I say region because we're going to visit some smaller areas like some other areas in these regions. So we will start our study abroad experience in Johannesburg, and we will spend a few days the first week in Johannesburg, and I'll tell you in a few minutes like some of the things that we're going to be doing there. And from Johannesburg, we travel north to Pilanesberg for a weekend getaway. We're going to the Bakubang Lodge, and while there, we will go on a safari. It would be an amazing experience. Looking forward to having this experience with you all. And then we drive back into Johannesburg and then we fly to Cape Town. This is a very large country, okay? It's the whole southern tip of the continent. So we will have to fly from Johannesburg to Cape Town. And so your program fees does include that in-country flight. And then we'll spend the remainder of the study abroad experience in Cape Town in the Western Cape region, and visiting different areas in the Western Cape. So there's a lot that we're going to be packing in these 14 days. So looking forward to talking with you about that. Once you are accepted into the program and we get closer to program dates, we're going to have a week of pre-departure meetings, which are required for the course. And that should be in the documents that you receive when you receive the welcome packet, acceptance packet. We will have 3 pre-departure classes leading starting on June 8th. So June 8th, 9th, and 10th. And then the 11th is the day that we will travel to South Africa. So during that time and leading up to that time, you will receive a final itinerary that will show you day by day what we're going to be doing. Right now, there's still some things that we're negotiating on your behalf. So what to expect? For the students here, the hotel, we're going to be staying in hotels, and it will be double occupancy in the hotels. So two to a room, no more than two to a room. If you choose, if you would like your own room, for those of you who are not community participants, there is an additional fee for single rooms. If that is something that you're interested in, you'll just need to let us know so that we can let the service provider know. But that will increase your costs for a single room. We will have private transportation and a guide with us the entire time that we're in country. So you will be picked up at the airport upon your arrival, and everywhere that we go, except for, when we have dinner in the evenings, you're on your own for dinner in the evenings. And everywhere that we're staying, you're in walking distance to lots of restaurants and shops and malls and things like that. And so you can go as a group, but everywhere that we're going throughout the day, we'll have private transportation and a guide with us. You're going to engage with a diverse group of people, languages, and foods. The schedule is going to be full each day. It is academically rigorous. And we're going to be engaging in some very beautiful, amazing discussions with scholars, activists, community members throughout this entire experience, including visiting different universities, and different cultural historical sites during our time. So um, we'll depart the U.S. on June 11th, and will arrive in South Africa either the 12th or the 13th, depending on the flight that you choose. We will depart the country on the 28th, but you won't get back into the U.S. until June 29th, because it's a long flight. So it's going to take you at least one day to get back. And so the two courses that you can choose from are either Ethnic Studies 105 or Intercultural Communication, COM 150. If you've taken both of these courses, I've addressed this, and it will be addressed in the interview, as um, you'll find out. Some of you, we've already had this discussion. But both of these courses, as you can see, meet transfer credits. The program cost is $48.63. This includes all of your hotel stays, your transportation and guide, your in-country flight, 2 meals per day, plus two group dinners, safari, plus your lodge, and the game drive while we're on the safari, your entrance fees to all of the cultural sites, and some even more fun excursions. So it does include a lot for those program fees. And as we've mentioned before, our program provider is Altera Global Initiatives, and that's who you will submit your payments to for this experience. So, Dr. Gaines, I'll let you briefly talk about your class.
Okay. Um, so our course is I'm gonna just give a general summation of the course because I'm going to be working closely with Professor Powell as well. We're going to be integrating some things, but essentially our theme is really um, African 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 American resistance to settler colonialism and imperialism um, in South Africa as well as North America, right? So for Africans and African Americans, so we'll be doing comparison of those experiences and the resistance of Africans in the continent, specifically the southern South Africa, but we're also going to be looking at the resistance in North America and even touching on the Caribbean. So that's kind of the broader theme is resistance to settler colonialism and imperialism um, in South Africa and in North America.
And for the intercultural communication, we'll look at intercultural communication in context. We're going to, like I mentioned, we'll engage in dialogue, community and civic engagements, and cultural site visits. So there's going to be some overlap throughout the experience. But when we have our individual course meetings, then you will have an opportunity to contextualize what you've been experiencing, hearing, learning during the site visits in your courses. And you'll get to connect those learnings. So I call it live learning. You get to
Yeah.
connect those learnings with, uh, with your professor, with your classmates in the classes that you're going to enroll in. I see it. Is there a question in the chat? Is it not a good idea if someone wanted to take both classes? Um, it is not that it's a bad idea. We do like
Work.
you can take both classes, but it will be a lot of
A
work
lot of
in
work.
such a short, intensive period. It's not that you cannot do it. We just want to be realistic about how much work it's going to be for you if you choose to take both classes. So yes, you can take both classes. And yes, it will be a lot of work in a short period of time. So if you're up for the challenge and you need both classes for your degree path, then you are welcome to do that. Okay?
As long as
Um,
you're willing to work hard, we'll support you 100%. You'll
you're
because
right.
both of us are going to work together and we'll work with you, but you got to work hard.
Right. Right. So some of the things that we're going to be doing uh, is we'll have conversations with renowned activists and scholars like Fatima DK. She's a renowned South African playwright and theater director. She was the first Black South African woman to have a play published. And her contributions to South African theater span several decades.
Mhm.
And she served in various roles, including stage manager, actress, playwright, and director. She's also spent a lot of time in the United States, and she's written plays for the National Black Theater Festival that happens every couple of years. It happens actually every other year here in the United States on the East Coast. It's actually in my home state of North Carolina. But she did protest theater, and so her work reflects not only the linguistic diversity of like the Cape Town and Western Cape, but all throughout the country. And so her work highlights social injustices in Black South African communities, particularly during apartheid. And now her work is focused a lot on gender-based violence in the country. So she's been producing plays around gender-based violence that's been happening in the country recently. So you all will have an opportunity to sit with her, talk with her. She is an amazing, beautiful, wonderful human being. And she's quite the storyteller. So it's going to be a real treat to get to meet and talk with her. Also, you'll have an opportunity to have a session with Professor June Bam Hutchison. She's the director for the Center of Education Rights and Transformation at the University of Johannesburg. She's actually doing a fellowship at Oxford University in the UK right now. She'll join us by Zoom during our pre-departure meeting because that came about after the site visit, but we'll still have an opportunity to engage with her. She is a descendant of the original peoples of South Africa. And so it's a real treat to hear from her. And her focus has been on preserving indigenous knowledge, languages for the original Khoi people of South Africa. So you're going to learn about South African history pre-apartheid from Professor Bam Hutchison. And Professor Gaines got to geek out with her during the site visit.
Oh
But
man.
she is amazing. So you all will get a copy of her book as part of this study abroad experience. So these are just two of the many people that you'll get a chance to engage with. And if somebody can help me with the questions in the chat,
Okay.
uh, will the
Uh,
pre-departure classes be available virtually? They are actually in-person classes, Dr. Love, but we can set up like for the community participants, we can set up a virtual experience for you all if you want to join. But for the students, you must be in person. So please do note that
mhm.
if you are a student enrolled in the classes, you must show up in person for the pre-departure classes. So,
Yes.
but for the community members, you're welcome to join by Zoom so we could discuss that. Okay. So,
Mhm.
students, make sure you are uh, making plans to attend those pre-departure meetings June 8th, 9th, and 10th. So some of the other sites that we're going to check out, these are just a couple of the images, a couple of the sites. We're going to be going so many places in the 2 week span. But we will have, we are working with partners at the University of Johannesburg, Tshwane University of Technology. You can see the picture from uh, the first study abroad experience in 2017, where we went to the Nelson Mandela House in Soweto, which is the oldest township in South Africa. So you have an
Mhm.
opportunity to go there and see the sites there, engage with community members there. When we're at the universities, you'll get to speak with some students who are doing some groundbreaking research at these universities. We'll visit historical sites like Constitution Hill, where they kept prisoners during the apartheid movement. You're going to learn about history, while at some of these sites. Down
Mhm.
here, you can see these are the pillars at the Apartheid Museum. So you would have an opportunity to visit there. When we go to Cape Town, we have on schedule to visit Robben Island. We do have to take a boat to this island. So it will be weather dependent. I just because it has to be safe for us to travel there, but it is on the schedule. So we're gonna, pray for some good weather so that we can visit the island. And so you'll get to really see like some of these amazing historical and very complex and challenging historical sites while we're in country. But we'll also get to do some relaxing things as well, like going to safari in Pilanesberg National Park. One game drive is included in your fee. You have the option to choose a second one. And that cost is only about $50 if you want to go on a second game drive, but you do get one that's included as part of your fee when we go to Pilanesberg National Park. I've gone here twice, and it was majestic both times. And the rangers who take us around are very knowledgeable. They have to be educated in like geography, history, all things like around the animals and the ecosystem. So you're gonna learn a lot for those of you who are maybe like sustainability have a background or want to learn more about sustainability, you'll learn about that as part of the experience. So even the fun stuff, you're going to be learning about the history and about so many different aspects of the country. You also have an opportunity to go to the top of Table Mountain. So this is a fun excursion that you will have the opportunity to do. This is also included in your fees. And this is weather dependent as well. So hopefully there will be good weather. We had the opportunity to do this in 2017. I'm afraid of heights and it was terrifying, but I did it and it was amazing. I'm glad I overcame my fears and had that experience. And I hopefully you all get a chance to have this experience as well. And you'll have an opportunity to learn about the ecosystem and about the different wildlife that reside in this region as well by having experiences like this. So these are just some of the fun things that you'll have an opportunity to do. So, in terms of the accommodations, in Johannesburg, we'll be staying at the Southern Sun Hotel in Rosebank, in the Rosebank area. And this is just an example of the accommodations that you'll have in your room that you'll share with your roommate. Again, it's double occupancy unless you want to pay extra for the single occupancy. So just kind of want to give you some. This is actually a picture of one of the rooms at Southern Sun, just to give you an idea of what the accommodations look like. So they're very nice accommodations, very safe areas that we're going to be in, and the price it has been negotiated to get the cost down as much as possible. But our primary concern is that we are in safe areas. And that we have accommodations that are comfortable and that provide an environment where You can focus, you can learn, and then we'll, go out and visit different sites while in country. So I know I'm talking a lot, but lots of information to try to get to you in such a short time frame. But here's the payment deadline. Originally, it was going to be two payments, two large payments. So I was able to negotiate like smaller payments throughout. And why this payment structure and why these dates? Because flights have to be booked in country, and hotels, all these things have to be booked and paid for. So your first deposit is due March 9th, and this is before so those of you who might be interviewing like around that time, once you are interviewed and accepted, then you will submit your deposit if it's after March 9th. But for those of you who have already been accepted into the program, please note that your 450 deposit is due by March 9th. And then this is to secure your flights. And this also goes towards the deposits for your accommodations. The second payment will be due March 25th. And you can see the amount there. And then the last two payments are broken down, breaking the final remaining balance in half. So for those of you who were awarded the UCEF scholarship, um, your your scholarship money will be sent to our foundation office, and our foundation office will cut a check to Altair Global Initiatives for your fee amount, and then you will receive a refund check for the remaining balance, like minus the program fee. And so that will be mailed to you. So hopefully you gave us the correct mailing address when you submitted your application. And for those of you, I know there's about three folks who are joining us from outside of the district who got the scholarship. Make sure that you have completed your application to be a student in our district so that you are assigned a G number. That information should have been emailed to you. If not, make sure you email me so that we can send you that information. But there's another question in the chat. Okay, yes, you can get a single room. It is
Mhm.
just if you get a single room, it will cost more. William, I see your hand raised.
Hi, good morning, Dr. Powell.
Good morning.
I was just going to ask about how you just mentioned applying for Skyline College, or at least that would be the school I applied to. I remember
Mm,
at the end of my interview, you had, or well, you guys had mentioned that I would be receiving an email uh,
right. So
to apply, but is that
you
something I
didn't
should
get
have
that email?
received? I
Okay.
haven't received it yet, no.
Okay. All right. Thank you for letting us know, William.
Mhm.
Gerardo will be sending that email out to you regarding like the process for signing up as a non-degree seeking student.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and I sent those links to the study abroad office. So you'll be getting that email hopefully today.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, William. M.
Hi.
Hello.
My question is, since the first deposit goes towards the flights, I'm just a little confused
No,
about.
in-country flights,
Oh,
not the international.
okay,
Right.
so the
The in-country
international,
flights.
so the international we have to book ourselves, right?
Correct. So I was going to discuss that. That's coming up. So
Okay.
the international flight from here to South Africa, you have the option to book on your own, or the service provider can book for you. We just need to know if you would like the service provider to book for you. And let me see, is this the next? Yeah. So the next part of this conversation was on the recommended flights. Now there are other options that you can choose. We just wanted to get some options out to you all. Um, they range in cost from as low as 1900 to even more, depending on how you like to travel. But the key thing is we need you in country by June 13th, right? By the evening of June 13th. What I want to highlight for you all is that our program, the official program begins June 14th in the early morning. And so those of you who will choose a flight option that will get you in country on the 13th, if you arrive on the evening of the 13th, even if it's around 6:30 or so, which I think is one of the options that Zed provided, that you got in your packet, then you'll get there that evening and have dinner, and then you're up next morning starting the program. Dr. Gaines and I, because of our site visit, we chose a flight, and the flight cost keeps fluctuating. Dr. Gaines and I are scheduled to travel on this flight that you see on the screen. So we will be leaving on June 11th, arriving in country on June 12th, the evening of June 12th. For those of you who prefer to travel with us, this is the flight to choose. Um, this route leaving at 10:15 is a little bit more expensive. There's a lower cost fare. Like if you wanted to leave at 6 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock, then it's a little bit cheaper. It's just that your layover in New Jersey would be longer, but we'd be on the same flight from New Jersey to South Africa. So if you have questions about that and you want to just like, hey, I want to be on the flight with you guys, from New Jersey to Johannesburg, you can let us know. And if you say, hey, I want to choose the cheaper option, though, we can share that information with you as well. But you can choose a different flight at a price point that works for your budget. So this was another flight on United leaving the next day, June 12th, but it won't get you there until June 13th in the evening. And that's fine if you choose that flight. It's just you're going to be getting up next morning, and the program starts. So you don't get that kind of downtime to kind of acclimate to the time zone difference with this option, but it is a cheaper option. And then the other flight option is the Delta option that routes you all through London, Heathrow, with a 3-hour layover, and then from London into Johannesburg, and you would arrive on the 13th, but in the morning. So that gives you a little bit more time. So you'd arrive around, I think, what is it, 8 o'clock in the morning or 10 o'clock in the morning? No, no, that's the other flight. Yeah, 8:50, 9 o'clock in the morning, on the 13th. And so that's a cheaper option. I checked last night. This flight is still coming in around the same price. They have another one that connects through Atlanta, leaving on Delta and then getting you into Cape Town, um, uh, on the 13th as well. That's a little bit more expensive, but there are different options that you can choose. Now we're hoping we're going to have groups of people so that not everybody's arriving all these different times, because we will have a bus. And so the guides are going to have different times that they will come to pick you all up from the airport, either on the 12th or the 13th. So once we know what flights people are going to be choosing, then we can coordinate the pickup times. So these are just some options that we thought would be good options, reputable airlines and such. But there are some, there are some different options, but just something to think about. So if you're interested in choosing a different flight because you're great at selecting flights and you travel all the time, please let us know if you are planning to choose a different option, and run that by us before you book the flight so that we can make sure that it coincides with the time, pickup time at the airport. Okay. So one of the main questions for students is how to pay for this. So there's one more opportunity for those of you who are eligible for the Pell Grant to apply for the Benjamin A. Gilman International Scholarship. I strongly, strongly recommend, highly recommend that you apply if you're eligible to apply for this. The deadline is next week, March 5th. And you can get support through our study abroad office. You can just message Gerardo here on this chat, to get some guidance on how to, um, like information, like some suggestions for what to include in your essays to maximize your opportunities. Our district is one of the leading community colleges in terms of the number of students who've been awarded Gilman, and that is because of the support that we provide students when applying for these applications. I've had students in every study abroad that I've led to get a Gilman scholarship. So I strongly recommend that you apply if you're eligible. Other ways to apply, Gerardo, if you are ready and willing to share, other ways that you can uh, try to raise money is through um, like GoFundMe's and other scholarship opportunities. But
Yeah,
Gerardo,
of
did you want to
course.
share?
Yeah, of course. Um, I'm gonna drop my email in the chat as well. I strongly agree. Apply to the Gilman Scholarship as soon as possible. It's due next Thursday, I believe, at 11:59 p.m. So if you're currently receiving FAFSA, I definitely suggest to apply as soon as possible and get it rolling. And email me so I can email you the template and what type of responses they want to see. That way you're able to get, hopefully cross our fingers the $5,000, at least something, right? Something better than nothing. But other ways that we strongly encourage students to hopefully, raise money for their trips would be, through scholarships. There's many scholarships. Go through your financial aid department, whether it be Skyline, Kenyatta, CSM, go to your financial aid director, talk to them. Most of the time, they have many opportunities for students to apply to different scholarships. Also, if you go online, go on Google, search up scholarships available right now. I would suggest to do your due diligence, make sure that the website's legit, apply there. That's another option. Other ways, probably getting a part-time. I know it's super short on end, so maybe getting a side job, like reselling, flipping items like on Facebook
Mhm.
Marketplace, right? Um, there's like free items. I know you can go on TikTok. That's another way, right? Go to TikTok, look up videos on how to flip, how to make money on short end. There's many opportunities there. Also suggest maybe starting a GoFundMe, push it on social media, right? As well as, probably go into your local religious institution, whether you're Muslim, Christian, Jewish, etc. Most of the time, they're very community orientated, and it doesn't hurt to go and ask your local community and ask them for help. The worst that they can say is no, but most of the time they're willing to help a community member and help them raise money. So those are some of the options of way that you can raise money as well as saving money, like stop going to Starbucks, stop going to McDonald's. It adds up. If you start adding up the math, right? Like maybe like $10 on Starbucks on a daily drink, right? Going out $20. If you start saving that money, that's potential money that you can apply to your scholarship, to your study abroad payment, especially if you don't get scholarships and stuff like that. But if you have any questions regarding saving or how to get money or whatever, reach out to me. I can try to help you with something at least, right, to get the ball rolling. But at the end of the day, we want you to be part of this amazing journey with these two amazing instructors. But there's my email down below. Let me know if you have any questions. William, you have a question?
Yeah, hi. How's it going, Fernando? Nice to meet you. My question, it was about the financial side. You may be able to answer, or Dr. Power, or Dr. Gaines. But in terms of in country, is there like a recommended amount of pocket money we should be traveling with?
Yeah, that'll be information that we share with you all, like pre-departure,
Okay.
so that you all can be prepared. The exchange rate, in terms of the South African rands to US dollar, um, like your money goes a long ways there.
Okay.
But we'll get a recommendation from our service provider with about how much money you should plan to bring for dinners and then in terms of spending money, it's really about how much spending money you want to, how much money you might want to spend on buying gifts and other
Mm-hmm.
souvenirs that you might want to bring back or other things that you might want to do, like the extra safari, for example, or
Yeah.
like going to the spa while we're at the lodge when we're in Pilanesberg and those kinds of things. So we'll share that information with the group that's been accepted into the program prior to departure.
Okay. Thank you.
Hmm. Hi, Dion.
Hey, Dion.
Oh, you're muted?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Hi, Professor James.
Hey, how you doing, my
Hey,
sister?
good, good, good. Professor Powell, if we want to stay an extra week, are we allowed to do that?
Yes, you will do
Oh,
that at your own expense and you'll make the accommodations yourself.
okay.
But yes, you are allowed to stay an extra week. You can travel anywhere you want from there. And this is the other reason why we are, recommending like individuals can choose their own flights because some people choose to stay behind or travel elsewhere. Once the study abroad ends,
Okay.
right? Yeah. So,
Okay. Gotcha. Thank you.
yes. Are there any other questions about the study abroad or about the course or what we're going to be doing before we wrap up for today?
I had one more.
Yes.
The communication course, what is that about?
It's an intercultural communication course. So we're studying like the foundations of like foundational concepts in intercultural communication. We look at it from a survey and critical intercultural communication perspective, but we are contextualizing the course um, based on South African culture. Whereas like if you were taking a class here, let's say during a regular semester, you would just learn generally about different cultures and communicating across different cultures. But for this course, it's going to be looking at we'll look at these foundational intercultural communication principles and concepts, but then we're going to contextualize it to South African culture.
Okay.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Yep. William?
Yeah, I just had two final questions. The first was in regards to the important dates document that we received.
Hmm.
Um, so I understand obviously the classes being in-person mandatory on the June 8th, 9th, and 10th,
Hmm.
but there is a part that says a mandatory pre-departure orientation in April with
Hmm.
the date still to be determined. I was just
Hmm.
wondering, will that be made available via Zoom?
Gerardo, do you all do Zoom for like our community members and students who are going to be coming from outside the district for that pre-departure training?
Yes, for students and community members that are outside of the district, we do provide a Zoom option since, just the drive itself, it could be, really long. But yes, there'll be a Zoom option and that'll be given to you once we get closer to the date.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. And then my final question was just if the slides that you went over today, if those will be shared with us or not.
Yeah, we're recording this.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I forgot to mention that.
No worries.
But yeah, we can share the link to the recording for you.
Okay, amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, and we can create a PDF of the slides as well.
All right, much appreciated.
M.
Hi again. My question is if I were to take both courses, if I were to do that, what would the logistics be? Like, are there going to be times where both classes split up, but they're having class at the same time? Just wondering.
Yeah, like if we do have a good number of students that are taking both classes, then we'll have to stack the courses so that those of you who are taking both classes can attend both sessions. Yeah, right now we're scheduled to have split sessions, right? But if we have students that are interested in taking both classes, then we'll have to stack them, and they'll be at different times so that the students who are taking the two different classes can go to both classes.
Okay, thank you.
Hmm. Kennedy,
Hi, Dr. Powell. How are you?
hello, how are you?
Good. I was wondering for the single rooms, when we go to Pilanesberg, is that how you say it?
Yes.
So would that be included with like the fee for all of the places that we're visiting or no?
I think there will be, so the service provider would calculate your single room occupancy throughout the whole experience. And I need to get that, now that I'm talking about it, I need to find out what that cost will be, because that will mean you will be in single rooms throughout the duration of the trip. So I will ask the service provider what that cost will be. So for those of you who are interested in knowing that, if you don't mind shooting me an email, I'm going to drop my email in the chat and I can email that number to you.
I also want to add that when it comes to having roommates, you have the option to pick who you want to be roommates with. In the case that you prefer having somebody you know being with you, if you don't mind, then it'll be random selection, but it'll be based on gender.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much.
Okay. Other questions? Any other questions?
I have a question. I'm sorry. I came onto the Zoom pretty late.
Mhm.
So, is there a way I can get like a link or like an email of all the information or not deadlines, but the cost?
Yeah, so we did record the session for today, Kalila. And so we can send you the link to the recording so that you can hear what you missed.
Thank you.
Hmm. And did you receive your acceptance email, Kalila?
Yes, I did.
And the document that has all the payment deadlines?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Just want to make sure. All right. Any other questions? Yes, William.
Oh, sorry. I just thought of something. For the all the important documents that you need us to sign off on and then get back to you guys. I'm assuming it's just as soon as possible, but is there like a deadline for those?
Gerardo, what's the deadline for that?
There's no deadline right now, but eventually would want it by the deadline of the application.
Okay, so that's March 11th, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So as soon as possible, if you've
Right.
received it, if you could get those back to us. There's no payments associated with getting those documents back. So,
Yeah,
but we do need those documents, and Gerardo sent a link where you all can upload those. So if you could
Right.
send those as soon as possible, that would be great.
for
Which
sure.
is
Thank you.
just three documents. It's the waiver for liability, photo release, then code of conduct. So just those three, and that's it.
Yeah, so the student code of conduct, make sure that you thoroughly read through it if you're a student in the program. This applies to the students, not the community participants. So for the students, make sure that you read the code of conduct because you are expecting to abide by it. And make sure you sign and submit it. But there's going to be a code of conduct training in April, and that code of conduct training in April is for all students going on to study abroad, and so that pre-departure is led by the study abroad office. So that's not specific to the classes, but it is specific to all students studying abroad this summer. So you will be in a space with every student that's going to be studying abroad this summer. It is mandatory for our district that you attend the student code of conduct meeting. So, William, like for those of you who are outside of the area, who are students outside of the area, then there will be a Zoom link for you to join, but it is mandatory. It's not optional. Okay. So these are just requirements that our district requires. For any kind of study abroad field trips that students go on, you have to complete, all these code of conduct waivers. So, yeah.
Just want to add for the code of conduct, it will be virtual. It'll be virtual.
The April one?
Yes, for the code of conduct at least, that one's going to be virtual.
Okay, so the code of conduct meeting will be, so which is the one in person, Gerardo?
The one in person is going to be the mandatory pre-departure orientation. So that's where
Mhm.
we bring all the summer programs from the district and we go basically one by one just letting them know like all the important dates, their checklist of what they want to do before they head out. That's also an opportunity for the students to integrate, meet some of the other students, right? You know, kind of talk, hang out. Also an opportunity for students to pick out their roommates if they have somebody in mind as well.
All right. Thank you, Gerardo. Dion, you're muted.
This question's for Gerardo. For the application for the Pell Grant, do we email you and then you'll send us the link to apply? Or where do we find the application?
I can actually drop the application in the link right now.
So
Okay.
that's for the Gilman, you mean, right? Not for Pell Grant. Because Pell Grant,
Oh,
you have to, for financial aid, you apply through the financial aid office, but the application link that Gerardo's talking about is for the Gilman, Benjamin A. Gilman application. And so you have to be Pell Grant eligible prior to applying for that scholarship.
Okay.
Yeah,
How do you find out if you're eligible?
through your financial aid office.
Okay.
So if you go to your financial aid department and you ask them, and they'll verify as well too, if you applied for your financial aid for this academic school year, they'll let you know whether you do have it or you don't. And then
Okay.
based on that, you would be able to apply for the Gilman scholarship,
Okay. Gotcha. Thank you.
Mhm.
of course.
Kennedy?
so at the moment, I'm not taking classes this semester. So I was wondering if I was eligible for Gilman, even though I was a student last semester. So I guess that's a question for, um,
Did-
Gerardo.
yes,
did you fill out the FAFSA form for this academic year?
I did. Yes.
And
And then you qualify. So if you're receiving, even if you didn't take classes this semester, but you took classes last semester, fall, and the FAFSA is still applicable for that whole academic school year.
Mm.
Okay. Thank you so much.
so I just got word from our service provider that single occupancy for the entire trip is an additional 1150.
$100?
$1,150.
Dang. Well,
So I recommend having a roommate. You know, so
Mm.
I mean it is spendy because it is like you're gonna be in the country for about 14 days and it's three different hotels. Um, our service provider has been able to negotiate some good rates. Like if you were to go and try to pay for these places like out of pocket, it would be more expensive than what we're paying for this. And so for the single occupancy rate, it's a little bit more expensive for the number of days that you're
Mm.
going to be staying in these different locations. So,
Mhm.
but if you can pay it, then
That's right.
you're welcome to make that request.
Money comes and goes, but these memories are going to be there forever. That's all
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Dr. Love, I see your question. Texting her now. Gerardo, is there a way for us to like send out a survey to find out who wants their flights booked by the service provider so
Yeah,
that we can
I can send
collect
something
all that
out.
information?
Yeah, so I can send out a survey to all the students currently accepted into the program and giving them that option, and then I can forward it
And
to
then
you and then to the provider as well.
Right. And then what will happen, Dr. Love, is if you want them to book the flight, then the payment portal, you'll submit the amount for the flight in addition to the program fees to the payment portal. And then they can take care of booking the flight for you. And that link that Gerardo sent out to register for Altera Global is so that they can have all of your ID information for booking flights. Because there's an in-country flight. So whatever is on your passport, which is going to be, or it will be on your passport for those of you who still are going to be applying, that's the name that you need to submit on that registration form. So no nicknames. It needs to align with your passport so that there are no issues when we're in country traveling. All right. Because you'll be using your passport as your ID. So even if you haven't yet applied for your passport, but you know you're going to be applying, you will use your full name as it is listed on your birth certificate, for your passport. So that's the name that you should be submitting when you do the registration for Altera Global. That was sent out in the confirmation email that Gerardo sent out to everybody. Did you send the document? So even the community member should have gotten that acceptance email with
Correct.
those documents.
Correct. But I'm gonna be
Um,
sending another reminder with everything in one single space and then follow through with every information around like the application, put your actual information as we needed to book for the in domestic flight. So I'm gonna send a reminder with everything in detail. That way it's super simple and clear.
right. And thank you, Christopher, responding to Dion's text and message. But you do not need a visa for South Africa.
Bridget is asking, was the link sent in the confirmation email?
That
Yes,
was
the
the
link,
question that we were just responding to.
yes, yeah, in
Yeah.
the yeah, importance document, yeah.
Yep. So if you would like that resent to you, Dr. Love, we could Gerardo could resend that out to you.
Thank you.
Mhm. All right. So, are there any other questions? I know we're at time. I want to respect everybody's time today. I know everybody's busy. Um, uh, I could stay on. Dr. Gaines and I can stay on. Maybe Gerardo, if you have a few minutes, we can stay on and answer any other questions that you all may have. But we'll go ahead and stop the recording at this point, Gerardo.